Hello and welcome to another Pixel Maven project tutorial. This one is brought to you by the Festive Friday Challenge. Our latest challenge is celebrating Talk Like a Pirate Day, and we have an inspiration list of 10 items. You can use 3 or more of the items in a project in order to qualify for the challenge. And I just created this really simple hello card with some watercoloring, so that kind of loosely correlates to the water option. And then I've got some rhinestones, and they're in black, and of course I'm using black, and this stripe in here is gold as well, and then stripes. So I've used more than 3 options, but it definitely qualifies for the challenge, and I hope to see you out playing along with us. So let's get started in creating this card. There's no stamping today, just some watercoloring, die cutting, and assembling. Alright, so to get started we're going to do the watercoloring, and I'm using 2 pan sets. This is the Classics pan set by Prima, and it has a black in it, so I've just pulled out the black pan from that. And then this one is a new one to me, and it's a relatively new product. It's by American Crafts. It's their paper fashion line, and this happens to be their metallics. And I'm just going to open this up so you can see. I don't have them all unwrapped yet because these are all end up being quite similar in color, but all of these are metallics, so like a black metallic, an iridescent, silver. There's 2 different golds and a rose gold and a whole bunch of little iridescent ones as well. So we'll be using the shimmering deep gold for the project, and I pulled out the pan for that one as well. So because I've already done a sample, I have these set up in my paint wells, and I just need to add some water here to reactivate them. And I didn't do stripes across the whole thing. I just wanted stripes in the bottom half, so I started about halfway. And I just have like a medium-sized brush here, and I'll tell you what size it is in a minute here because I'm going to have to look at it. I want to say it's an 8. Oh, no, it's a 3. I get my numbers all mixed up all the time. And I'm just going to go ahead and put in some lines. And I'm going to leave space for the gold, so I want like 3 lines here. And if you're pretty good with lines, generally I wouldn't say that I'm great with lines, but for some reason when I watercolor them, I don't seem to have a problem. And then I'm going to put a 3rd one here. So like I was saying, if you're great with lines, fantastic, you don't need to do a pencil mark or anything. But if you're not so great with lines, go ahead and draw in some pencil lines first. Your watercolors are going to go right over them, and you won't see them if you do them light enough. Alright, so I've got 3, and then I'm going to come back over to these on this side a little bit because I started on that side and I want to make it look in fairly even thickness. So if I finish those off just a little bit, I think they look better. Alright, so of course these aren't supposed to look perfect because they're watercolored. So I have my first 3 in there, and now I'm going to go ahead and add in some gold ones. And same process, I'm going to grab some clean water here. So this comes together pretty quick. You don't have to secure this down on a hardboard because you're not getting it super wet. So that makes it easy too. Now I've noticed with at least this particular shade of gold, it looks better when it's lighter. So you might feel like you want like a really thick gold line, a really deep gold. Not so much with this. Otherwise it looks just kind of like a brown with a little bit of shimmer to it. If you want it to look a little more gold, just add more water and go for a more watered down line. Alright, so that's it for the watercoloring. You can go ahead and hit this with a heat gun or wait for it to dry as you move on to your next steps. Alright, so this is dry and complete, ready to go. And I have my piece of black licorice from Lawn Fawn. Now I'm going to show you a little trick today. I don't generally do this, but if you want to be extra frugal with your cardstock, I can cut out the die cut from the same piece of cardstock that I'm going to use in the background. So the only thing is that this die cut fits basically perfectly. So I just need to make sure that my spacing, especially on the left and the right sides, is in a good place. So I know that I'm going to have about a 1/4 inch on either side, and that as long as they're even, it'll work. Now, like I said, I don't always do this, but sometimes you're running low on cardstock, and this is a way to stretch it a little further. So I'm just going to run this through my Big Shot, and I'll be right back. All right, so this is die cut. So let's pull it apart and see what we've got. So I have this piece, which I'm going to save because that's going to go in the background. And then I've got the hello in here, if it will come out. Sometimes it's a little difficult. There we go. And I'll have some scrap pieces, but I just need this hello. Perfect. Okay, so now we're just down to assembly. I have my card base here. It's a 4 1/4 by, or 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, I should say, scored at 4 1/4. And normally I would put glue on the back of this, and it fits right on here perfect. But because I've got to work kind of all around the letters, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on here and give that a try. All right, so then this guy just gets lined up into the corner. All right, you can make sure all the parts are stuck down. And then this one is just going to go right over the top of it. It seems like a shame to cover that up, but that's the way this project is going. So now I've been super frugal, and I just use one piece of cardstock for both my background and my die cut. No one will ever know that there's a secret hello inside. There we go. And then, of course, we just need some adhesive on the hello. If you're not super skilled with the liquid adhesive application like this, then of course you can run this die cut through using like the Sizzix sheets or the scrapbook.com adhesive sheets. Either works. I just always forget to do it, and I'm pretty good with the Tombow, so I'm not worried about getting any extra. Okay. I like to grab this by the big L here and just flip it over and place it. There we go. Beautiful. And you'll notice that they're not exactly the same. It just kind of depends on how the hello decides to sag as you move it. If you're trying to get it in an exact position, you can create a template to fit it into, but overall it generally looks good. So now I'm just going to go ahead and add in some black rhinestones. I just had these in my stash, and if you don't have black rhinestones, of course you can color them regular metallic rhinestones with like a black Sharpie marker, and then you'll have black rhinestones. So I'm doing a double 3, so I've got like a little grouping here, and then I'm going to do a second grouping up here, and I'm doing small, medium, large. I think these both ended up being, well, this is the small one and that's the medium one. There we go. And this little one on the end here kind of looks like a period, which I really like. And that's it. This is a super classy card that is super easy to do. I do hope you join us for the Festive Friday Challenge. It runs for 2 weeks and it starts today, so you've got plenty of time to check out our entire inspiration list, create a project, and link it up with us. Thanks for joining me today, and until next time, happy crafting.